jacket, till my kick is starting the engine, but the visors down, it's time to ride. I shoot between the gears, to my silhouette disappears. I'm on the freeway going 99 miles per hour, banging like a new light through the traffic all along the night, cruising and losing all sense of time, going 90. Jacket, till my kick is starting the engine, but the visors down, it's time to ride. Shoot between the gears, till my silhouette disappears. On the freeway going 99 miles per hour, banging like a new light through the traffic all along the night, cruising and losing all sense of time, going 99 miles per hour. Jacket, till my kick is starting the engine, but the visors down, it's time to ride.
Yo. How we doing, y'all? What's going on, y'all? Whoa, what's going on, y'all? And thanks for tuning in. So, we have made it to the end of the fantasy football season. Thus, alas, we are here in our last episode, the championship episode, the, I guess, banner raising episode. So yeah, should be probably actually a quick one because all we got really on the docket is to go over the weekend, or the action from the weekend, and take a look at like the final standings, and then just for shits and gigs, take our picks in the final NFL games. Yeah, so let's do it. All right. It was like, as always, another big week, especially as it's the biggest week of them all, the creme de la creme, the fantasy football championships, and it was an awesome one. So, starting off at the top, we have a new reigning and defending Hooligan House Fantasy Football League champion is the Desert Swarm. Congrats, dude. You kicked ass all season. Just absolutely balled out. You have had some MVP candidates on that team. Just steamrolled absolutely everyone you played. 12-2 record, best record in the league, and it just could not be stopped. As you can see, Desert Swarm picked up the win, not like super mightily, but pretty decent, over the D. Adams family by a score of 115 to 77. Then in our third place game, All Hail the Sun God picked up the win in a pretty close one, in a score of There we go. Alright. So there's a good chance that you guys weren't even actually hearing what I was just saying. Well, that's scuffed. Alright. Well, alright, 2 seconds, I guess. Alright, so I have to go back a little bit. I'm not going to redo all of them, but because I didn't apparently realize that the audio was messing up, which is unfortunate. But so real quick, going over just what we saw. When I already did the kind of deeper review for our championship matchup. But anyways, so it was, well, I suppose we can just continue on where we were. But you can see them right there. It's just, but the last thing that we were looking at was what? Kickers? Yeah, alright, let me reset it up. That is unfortunate. Sorry, I did not realize that my mic was not functioning properly. Alright. Do I maybe need a new micro USB? Like, I hope this thing doesn't keep randomly disconnecting. It's unfortunate. But, okay. So the last thing we were doing was the kickers here. So the Adams Family and Desert Swarm had a pretty good matchup. Desert Swarm did get the win and is their new champ, like I said, and new reigning and defending champ, best record in the league with Chase McLaughlin. Unfortunately for the Adams Family, did kind of slightly underperform. I know he's only a kicker, so they're not really technically expected to score a ton of points, but Chase McLaughlin only able to get 1 point this week in a loss to New Orleans, while Brandon Aubrey for Desert Swarm here able to get 11 points in a win over Detroit. Okay, so then we'll go into our next matchup, which I think is our third place matchup, which was between All Hail the Sun God and Peanut Oil. Alright. So, starting off at the top, we have Josh Allen getting 22 points this week in a win over New England, while for All Hail the Sun God, CJ Stroud coming back from injury, only able to get 15 points this week in a big win over Tennessee. Then if we go into the running backs, Alvin Kamara able to get 6 points this week in a win over Tampa, while Austin Eckler for All Hail the Sun God here only able to get 4 points in a loss to the Broncos. Then if we go into the next set of running backs, for All Hail the Sun God, they had Isaiah Pacheco go off for 29 points in that big win over Cincinnati, while Ty Chandler for Peanut Oil only able to get 9 points this week in a loss to Green Bay. Then if we look at the first set of wide receivers, Deebo Samuel able to get 18 points this week in a win over Washington, while Amon-Ra St. Brown able to get 22 points for All Hail the Sun God here in a loss to Dallas. Then if we move into the next set of wide receivers, but we'll stick with All Hail the Sun God here, who had Rashee Rice able to get 17 points this week in a win over Cincy, while on the opposite side for Peanut Oil, Cooper Kupp had 12 points in a win over the Giants. Then if we go to the tight ends, there was Isaiah Likely, who got 18 points this week in a win over Miami, while Tucker Kraft for All Hail the Sun God here, able to get 10 points in the win over Minnesota. Then if we look at the flex spot, we'll flip back to Peanut Oil, who had Curtis Samuel able to get 6 points this week in a loss to San Fran, while Zay Flowers for All Hail the Sun God able to get 19 points in a 56-19 win over Miami. Then if we look at the defenses, Browns for Peanut Oil able to get 14 points in that win over the Jets, while the Raiders for All Hail the Sun God only able to get 1 point in the loss to Indianapolis. Then finally, if we go into the kickers, Young Waiku for Peanut Oil only was able to get 3 points this week in a loss to Chicago, while Jason Sanders for All Hail the Sun God is able to get 7 points in a loss to Baltimore. Alright, moving into next matchup, which was Team Dicka and Nuge, which saw Team Dicka going off for 161 points to Nuge, who's only at 111. So Team Dicka, starting off with their QBs, had Justin Fields and the Bears, who are playing pretty good right now. Justin Fields able to 27 points in that win over Atlanta, while for Team Nuge here, Jake Browning able to get 23 points in the loss to Kansas City. If we stick with Team Nuge here and their first running back, who is Jahmyr Gibbs, able to get 5 points this week, while Devon Achane able to get 23 points in the loss to Baltimore for Team Dicka. Then if we move into the RB2s, staying once again with Team Dicka here, and Breece Hall, who was able to get 27 points in the loss to Cleveland, while James Conner for Team Nuge went off and able to get 26 points in the win over Philly. Then if we go into the wide receivers, we'll stick with Jamar Chase, who is on Team Nugent's team, able to get 7 points this week in a loss to Kansas City, while AJ Brown able to get 9 points in the loss to Arizona for Team Dicka. Then if we look at the wide receiver 2s, Deontay Johnson goes off for 11 points this week in a win over Seattle, while for Team Nuge, Mike Evans able to get 10 points in a loss to New Orleans. Then, moving into good old tight ends, we have Evan Engram getting 12 points in the win over Carolina, while Sam Laporta for Team Dicka here able to get 15 points, continuing his stellar season in a loss to Dallas. Then if we got then in the flex spot we got Jerome Ford able to 26 points in the win over the Jets, while Puka Nacua for Team Nuge here able to get 18 points in the win over the Giants. Then if we go into the defenses, we have the Bears able to get 11 points this week in a big win over Atlanta, while the Falcons took -3 points in a loss to Chicago. Then finally in the kickers, we have Jake Moody for Team Dicka here. We get 9 points in the win over Washington, while Cameron Dicker for Team Nuge here only able to get 12 points in the loss to Denver. Then we had in our next matchup, CD's Nuts picking up the win over Kelsey Softly by a score of 145 to 128. So starting off at the top, Joe Flacco had 25 points for Kelsey Softly in the win over the Jets. Ironic that he's wearing a Jets uniform in that picture. Then for CD, Jalen Hurts able to get 20 points this week in a surprise loss to Arizona. Moving into the running back 2s, CD had Rachaad White, who was able to get 8 points in the loss to New Orleans, while Bijan Robinson able to get 11 points in the loss to Chicago. Then the RB2s, Kenneth Walker able to get 16 points in the loss to Pittsburgh, while for CD they had Chuba Hubbard, who was able to get 11 in the loss to Jacksonville. Then staying with the wide receiver, moving into the wide receivers, but staying on CD's side, we have Devontae Adams, who went off for 37 points in the loss to Indianapolis, while Calvin Ridley for Kelsey Softly only able to get 7 points this week, despite winning over Carolina. Then in the wide receiver 2 spot, Brandon Ayuk able to get 24 points this week in a win over Washington, while CD Lamb for CD here able to get 40 points in a huge win over Detroit. While if we move into the tight ends, but stay with CD's team here, and his teammate in Jake Ferguson able to get 7 points this week, like I said, in that win over Detroit. Well, if we flip to Kelsey Softly, the namesake, Travis Kelce, only able to get 4 points this week in a win over Cincinnati. Then if we move into the flex positions, we have Jaden Reed for Kelsey Softly, able to get 26 points in the win over Minnesota, while Michael Pittman Jr. able to get 9 points in the win over Las Vegas. Then we move into the defenses. We have the Chiefs for Kelsey Softly here, able to get 9 points in the win over Cincy, while the Cowboys put up, they've been a bit buzzsaw all season, and this time they only put up 2 points in a win over Detroit. Then Kelsey Softly did not take out their kicker, who is a free agent, so no points there. While Justin Tucker put up 8 points for CD's nuts. Haha. Then, if we get into our second to last matchup. Where'd my bar go? Oh, I must have left it out there. I'll grab it later. Alright. So, starting off with the QBs, Lamar Jackson had 39 points this week in the big win over Miami. While for Pool of Dumpster Water, Derek Carr had 17 points in the win over Tampa. In the first set of running backs, Pool of Dumpster Water had Christian McCaffrey, who is also an MVP candidate, get 13 points in the win over Washington, while Joe Mixon, for better on paper, able to get 18 points this week, despite losing to Kansas City. If we look at the next set of running backs, we have Gus Edwards, for better on paper here, getting 10 points this week in a win over Miami, while Madison, for Pool of Dumpster Water, only getting 5 points in a loss to Green Bay. Then in the first set of wide receivers, we have Chris Olave, who got 5 points in a win over Tampa, while Gabe Davis, for better on paper, only got 4 points in a win over New England. In the wide receiver 2 spot, we have Michael Gallup, who's unfortunately did not get any points in a win over Detroit, while Tyler Lockett able to get 2 points in the loss to Pitt. Now moving straight into the tight ends, we have Tyler Conklin, able to get 9 points this week in a loss to Cleveland, while Cole Kmet got no points and threw up a donut himself in a win over Atlanta. Then moving into the flex spot, we have OBJ here, able to get 4 points in a blowout win over Miami, while Zach Charbonnet able to get 9 points this week in a loss to Pittsburgh. Then if we move into the defenses, we have the Niners able to get 10 points in a win over Washington, while the Vikings unfortunately got a negative 4 points in a loss to Green Bay. And in the kickers, we have Tyler Bass getting 9 points this week in a win over New England, while Will Lutz, for Pool of Dumpster Water here, able to get 10 points in a win over the Chargers. And in our final matchup, aka the Toilet Bowl, it was the Young Guns picking up the win over Bob's Burgers by a score of 92-79. So, starting off with the QBs again, Patrick Mahomes able to get 14 points this week in a win over Cincy, while for Bob's Burgers, Jared Goff able to get 13 points, so pretty similar scoreline here, in a loss to Dallas. Then moving in the first set of running backs, but staying with Bob's Burgers, we have Derrick Henry getting 4 points this week in a loss to Houston, while James Cook also kind of getting another similar stat line here, able to get 5 points in a win over New England. Then, if we move into the next set of running backs, we have Kyron Williams getting 30 points this week in a win over the Giants, while DeAndre Swift getting 7 points in a loss to Arizona. Moving into wide receivers now, but the first set, we have DeAndre Hopkins here for Bob's Burgers, getting 14 points in that loss to Houston, while T. Higgins able to get 2 points in a loss to KC. Then if we move into the wide receiver 2s, we have DK Metcalf getting 15 points this week, despite losing to Pittsburgh, while Rondell Moore for Bob's Burgers are able to get 6 points in a win over Philly. Then if we move into the tight ends, but staying on Bob's Burgers, we have Pat Freiermuth, who had 7 points this week in a win over Seattle, while Kyle Pitts for Young Guns here only 1 point this week in a loss to Chicago. Then moving into the flex spot, we got Scary Terry McLaurin getting 16 points this week in a loss to San Francisco, while Garrett Wilson able to get 9 points this week in a loss to Cleveland for Bob's Burgers. Then if we move into the defenses, we have the Lions getting 4 points this week despite losing to Dallas for Bob's Burgers, while the Commanders unfortunately putting up negative points, -2 in a loss to San Francisco. Then finally, we have our kickers. Jake Elliott getting 8 points in the loss to Arizona, while Matt Gay got 12 in their win over Las Vegas. All right, which now brings us to our final standings for the season. I'm just looking for it in my things. Here it is. All right. So this is how the standings ended up for our league, or the league this year. In first place, like I said, is the Desert Swarm. Had the best record, 12-2. They're coming in at first place. And second, we have D. Adams family coming in, finishing with an 11-3 record. Then in third place, we have All Hail the Sun God with a 9-5 record. Then, just getting the final standings here. Then in fourth, we have Peanut Oil, who finished 8-6. Then in fifth, we have Team Dicka, who also finished 8-6. In sixth is Team Nugent, who finished at 10-4. Then in seventh is CD's Nuts, who finished at 7-7. Then in eighth, it is Kelsey Me Softly, who finished at 5-9 on the season. Then in ninth is Better on Paper, who finished at 3-11 this season. Then in 10th is Pool of Dumpster Water, who finished at 4-10. Then the Young Guns come in 11th at 3-11. And then in last place, it's Bob's Burgers, coming in at 4-10 on the season. Which brings us to the last kind of little thing here, which is the banner kind of dropping for our Hall of Champions that we do around here in the Hooligan House, which is right here. Congratulations, Desert Swarm. We killed it all season, and you are the 2023 Hooligan House Fantasy Football League champion. Congrats, my dude. Congrats. And welcome to the Hall of Champions. You have, this is pretty much, so the Hall of Champions has also our fantasy basketball and fantasy F1. So all of our champions of our leagues get put in here. But the only reason why the fantasy, or the Hooligan House, it's actually the Hooligan House Fantasy Football logo. I have separate logos for each league, but the other ones aren't here because it makes a weird overlay. So it's just leaving it here, but that's neither here nor there. All right. Now, the last thing that I want to do, that we've been kind of just doing, is taking our picks for the remaining games for this week 18. Let's go to schedule. Okay. So we have 2 games tomorrow. I want to get these all on one thing. Perfect. Okay. Give me my snipping tool. And I know a lot of these teams are going to have some backup QBs because they're obviously going to be resting people. Let's do screenshots. Okay. So we have the Steelers versus the Ravens. Ravens are obviously going to be playing with backup QB. Playing in the Ravens. Steelers need to, I think they need to win and in. But that defense for the Ravens, though, is very good. Give me the Ravens, even with the backup QB. Texans, Colts. This is going to be a good game. I think Stroud's playing because I think Texans need to get winning in, right? Colts, they're playing phenomenal, man. And it's playing in their home stadium. Give me the Texans. Buccaneers, Panthers. Even with people, I still think Buccaneers got this. Yo, what's good? What's good, my dude? Catching us as we make our picks here real quick before we hop off for just this section. All right, Bengals, Brownies. Finally got extortionist in my other custom has done. Hey, there we go. It's like Browns, Bengals. Joe Flacco's on a tear, but I think if the Browns are in, I was like, if the Browns are in, I don't know if he's going to be playing. I don't think he's going to be playing. Same thing with the Bengals. And is there... What backup QBs are starting week 18? So Browns have Jeff Driscoll. Is that who they're starting? So then Raiders, Aiden O'Connell, Nick Mullins. Jets are rolling with Simeon, Colts, Minshew, Falcons, Ritter. Or not Ritter, Heineke. I don't know if this is actually up to date. I don't know what BNN breaking is, we'll see. I just want to know what QBs are. Oh, you can't just give me a list, you wieners. What about this one? Who's in and who's out? That's what I would like to know. Mason Rudolph, Tyler Huntley. CJ Stroud, Gardner Minshew. Jeff Driscoll plays for the Browns. You can still go over PJ Walker. Myles Garrett. Bengals are going to go with Jake Browning once again. In a pretty much meaningless game, give me, because this is going to have no Myles Garrett, none of their real starters. Jeff Driscoll's going to be starting. Give me the Bengals. I don't think who's starting for the Lions? Nick Mullins replaced Jaron Hall, which we knew. Lions are still going to roll with Goff. Alright, well then that one makes that real easy. Especially at home. Alright. This shit show. Who even cares about this one? Like, Jets, Patriots? Ugh. God, who even... It's like, they're fighting for, like, who wants to be the... Trevor Siemian. Give me Bill Belichick's likely last start as the Patriots head coach. Yeah, we'll see about that. Give me the Patriots. Falcons, Saints. Tyler Heineke's limited. Saints are still rolling with... Alright. Alright, so it sounds like that one's still good to go. Give me the Saints because I don't really trust the Falcons. Trevor Lawrence still dealing with AC sprain. CJ Beathard versus Will Levis. Oh, or Ryan Tannehill. Even with that, I still think Jags are winning that. I think Seahawks still winning that. Packers winning this. I like turtles. Or if you're our tight end, I like hurdles.
I like turtles.
Now it works. Chiefs Chargers. Let's see. Chiefs are locking the 3 seats of the room with Blaine Gabbert. Easton Stick still going out there. So Blaine Gabbert versus Easton Stick. Squirtle me, Zaddy. What's up, PT? Much love, my guy. This is literally the last part we're doing right here. Let's see. I mean, gotta go with the Chiefs, even though they're gonna suck. Aiden O'Connell versus who's starting for Broncos right now? Buffalo Bills. The Bills. Jared Stidham versus Aiden O'Connell. Give me the Raiders. I keep picking the Raiders and I feel like they keep fucking losing. But, you know, hey, I'm not going to learn my lesson. Eagles versus Giants. I don't think Jalen's starting this one, right? I wouldn't. Hurts will start no matter what. Oh boy. Well, shit, if Hurts is playing, you gotta roll with the Eagles then. Although, their locker room situation has been fucking terrible. Rams, Niners. It's good old week 18 weirdness. Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold. Rams are also sitting Kyren, Cooper, Aaron Donald, Ernest Jones, and Puka Nacua needs 30 yards to break a record. Carson Wentz versus Sam Darnold. Whoops. Probably go Niners. Cowboys, Commanders. Depends if Dak plays. Dak will at least start the game. Alright, well, then that means we're going with that. Dolphins and Bills. Winner claims the AFC East. Alright, then they're both starting. So this is a legit pick. This is actually an actual pick. Well, the Bears-Packers one was too, but, you know, literally rocking the Jordy Nelson Pro Bowl jersey, so I got to go with the homeboys. Hey, it's winning in here for us. Okay, Dolphins and Bills in Miami. Bills have been playing fucking incredible football. Dolphins, not so much. Tyreek had his house just almost burned down today or yesterday. So we're going to go Bills. All right. Not doing too bad. Cool. All right. Then that is our picks. We did it. Close that out. Put this back to 100%. Sick wallpaper. All right. Well, that is it. We did it. We made it through the fantasy football season. That was it. Congrats once again to Desert Swarm for winning. They are our new reigning and defending champ. I always like doing this. It's always a great blast. But yeah, it is. Yeah, that is the last one. So hey, If you're watching here in the stream, I appreciate you guys watching this quick little one. The reason why these ones are always so short is because I export them straight to YouTube. So that means if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, you've been liking the content, please feel free to let me know down in the comment section down below. Additionally, hit that subscribe button. But yeah, y'all have been fantastic, and I will probably catch y'all later. I think I'm probably going to be playing some Tarkov in a little bit or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Anyways, I will catch y'all later. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, the stream, and whatnot. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Slow. I'll see you later. Bye. I also have to do everything a little bit slower because I don't have a number pad anymore now. So I actually got to press it on OBS to actually do it instead of just pressing a number. So bye.